Hey, what it do, man? It's your boy Roscoe Dash 2.0. And right now, you're tuned in to allhiphop.com. Dash Effect 2 on the way. Just wait on it.
I think the first Dash Effect was a classic, actually. I think that everything that went into it did a lot for me, not only as an artist, but as a person as well, and for my team. I had Cutthroat on there. Cutthroat came from the West Side, Campbellton Road, where a lot of my campaign started. And then, Get With Drama, somebody who I've grown up listening to. And, I've been following his Gangsta Girls projects for so long. And I always wanted my own. Everybody was like, man, when you get the gunshots on your track, that make you solidify. You'd have made it. So I just remember getting those tags from him, man, and him coming in and personally, just putting it together and watching him go through the whole process, man. It was a really, it was a milestone marker for me. So I think that, now with Dash Effect 2, I got to do it again. I got to raise the bar. And this time I feel like I need to do it by myself. I think that, the first half of my career, I played the wingman a lot. And so for now, I think that in a process of reconnecting yourself and introducing yourself, you got to do that alone. And you got to, show people what you stand for and kind of just get them everything you got. And so I feel like what better way to do that than Dash Effect 2.
With Dash Effect 2, man, I felt like with me making this an album, it needs to be epic. It needs to be something that grasps you from the moment that you press play. I think that there's a difference in a song and a record. I think that there's a difference in a mixtape and an album, and I think that a lot more time goes into something that is a piece of what you stand for, or that kind of signifies what you stand for. It includes all the substance and everything that you put into your everyday situation. So for me, man, it was just about really, if I'm trying to reintroduce myself, or I'm trying to introduce the evolution that I've been going through, I felt like I needed to do it in a new way. When I came in before, I came in with K on the track, so it was kind of like a part of the futuristic movement. So for now, where I'm at now, I felt like I need to kind of take it to the next level. I need to do something different. I need to kind of break away from that box. That's the whole reason why, or a majority of the reason why I took the hiatus in the first place, was just to kind of climb out of that box, man. I didn't want to be known as the guy on the last verse, or the hook guy, or the go-to. It just kind of limits everything that you can possibly do with what you're trying to accomplish. So for me, man, I just wanted to kind of break completely out of that. So I have a lot of live instrumentation. I have a lot of I'm still giving that old Roscoe sound, that old Can't Catch the Lambo, that switching up the verses, the stuff that everybody fell in love with me for the first time around. I just think now it's just about revamping and kind of just showing the growth. I'm 25 now, I was 18 then, so it's a lot of growth there, a lot of stuff to show. So expect the unexpected. I think my first project was my first Dash Effect was 34 songs, I think. And I think that came in a time where nobody was, the only other person I've ever known to put that many records on a project was Frank Ocean on one of his mixtapes, put 64 songs in there. And I never listened to all 64, but I thought the concept of that was dope. Just for the timing that it came in, it was a whole different wave of music. So to any other type of situation, it would be contradicting to oversaturate. But since it was so much other type of music going on right then and there, I felt like the fact that he oversaturated with a different type, it kind of just gave him the wave, and that's the same way that made his album do what it did. So, with this situation, I just kind of wanted to give him as much as possible. I've been gone for a really long time, so even though I've been throwing songs out here and there on my SoundCloud, it doesn't really suffice to what I was doing before. So I just kind of wanted to, make sure the people were taken care of. You got to take care of the people. I started producing I started producing a while back. I kind of took a break from it. I started off probably, I think, Fruity Loops 3 is when I started making beats. That's a long time ago. I was probably too young to even know what I was doing. But I was still putting it together, making it happen, making it do what it's supposed to do. I remember stuffing paper into the end of the cassette tapes and recording on my karaoke machine with beats I made off the computer and stuff. It was just something that I was doing at 9 years old. So, I kind of always knew that this was what the process was going to be. I just really feel like with this Dash Effect project, I needed to kind of give them me in depth. And, seeing that I started doing this again, I picked it back up with 2.0. I produced here and there on a couple of different records. I kind of wanted to just indulge. That was kind of the start of the new beginning, I guess. And so now that we are where we are, I just felt like why not
indulge a little bit. I got a couple records on there that I produced, and a couple records that I even put out on my SoundCloud before, just to kind of get over the fear of with artists we struggle a lot with sharing our thoughts and sharing the way that we like do certain things. So producing was one of those things for a long time that I was kind of like iffy about. I had to like get comfortable with people hearing what I was doing from that, because I've always been good at doing hooks. I've always been good at rapping or making songs. Like I don't think I ever had a song that was like not what it was supposed to be. So I wanted to kind of raise the bar, but and at the same token, you got to take L's every now and then. So man, it was just, I didn't want that to be the element that I was taking. You know what I'm saying? So I had to revamp it, man. I had to get it together, go kick it with some of my producer homies, and just kind of get in the groove of doing that and expanding myself. So that's kind of where we at now. I would love to do something for Kanye. I would love to do something for Kendrick Lamar too, just because they're very abstract. And I love Kendrick Lamar's sound because he implements a lot of the same things that Outkast used to do back in the Gap. And with me being from Atlanta and me like that's being a part of my culture, it just automatically like, what I'm saying, it makes me adapt to what's going on in his realm of music too. So I would love to like just sit down with either one of them and really just kind of pick their brain and vibe out and see what we can come up with. I think that, man, anyway, with the way society is today, man, any way somebody can make an honest living, man, I don't object at all whatsoever. As far as like people bringing ghostwriting into the equation to kind of hinder somebody else's success or whatever the case may be with that situation, I just think that, man, it's a collaborative effort at the end of the day. Like, whether I go get somebody from off the street and bring them into the studio, I'm collabing with them by sharing my studio. If somebody's like if you're making music for yourself, then by all means make music for yourself. Like make your own beats, record your own music, put it out to yourself, and you know what I'm saying, do what you do. But I just think that the music is used to relate to so many different realms of life and so many different people's like what they go through on a day-to-day basis. And me as one person, I haven't even lived the same things that even half of the percentage, like 50% of the population has lived. So I think that in order to capture the whole overall what you're supposed to capture when you're creating music, I think that you have to pick other people's brains and get other perspectives on different situations or the way that things are being perceived. So, man, it's a lost art really to me, and it's something that people really misunderstand a lot and take out of context. Yeah. I have a couple different artists. I got Jason the Kid, or JTK as he likes to go by. He's really dope. He's from Atlanta. He does like pop music, urban music as well. I also got Spiff. Spiff is from Louisiana. La Place, which is a small town. I kind of can relate to that because a lot of my family come from Thibodeau, which is another small town in Louisiana that's not too far from La Place. So it's that same Get It Out the Mud music that we fell in love with Boosie for, that we fell in love with Juvenile and the Hot Boys for. Like it's a culture, and so I'm trying to just reconnect that with the things that are implemented in today's society at the same time and make it relatable. If we can build a bridge, we'll be able to move freely about the country. So that's kind of how I treat it. Life, man. The ups and downs of life, period. I remember back in the day, I used to like focus so hard on drawing inspiration from other music or whatever, but I think that's kind of what got us in the situation that we're in now with music, like with everything sounding the same and music being so redundant. Like, I think we just kind of have to get back to, making music that's real and making music that, is a reflection of the things that we go through on an everyday basis and making it relatable. Because, like even nowadays with all the stuff that's going on in Chicago with kids dying every day and babies getting hit, and it's just a whole bunch of wild stuff that's going on. But it's because of the music that we're creating. Like back in the Gap when Pac and Biggie were going at it, they were going at it over records, and that kind of just, they were really living this stuff though. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, like nowadays it's like, all right, I don't like you or whatever, I'm gonna make a song about you and I'm gonna, create a cult following to like feel the same way about you how I feel about you, and now we all shooting at each other or fighting each other whenever we see each other, but we're really standing for something that doesn't really stand for anything at all whatsoever. It was a manipulated process for us to go through in order to self-destruct, really. So I just think that you just kind of the people who understand that and the people who go through the turmoil that life presents us in the real world every day, that's the music that needs to be made. That's the inspiration that we need, whether it be the pain and the hardships or the happy times that we go through. It can still be popping bottles in the club every weekend, but let's do it from a real aspect of how I got that money to go do that, or how I, you know what I'm saying, like give people the blueprint without taking them through the process physically. You know what I'm saying? Like allow them to do their own thing, but just give them the guidelines that will help them get it in a safer way, or a more, you know what I'm trying to say, like just a better environment, period, for people. I think social media is for entertainment. We have to remember that it's creative. It's just like creating a player on a video game. Like your player going like do all kind of backflips and NBA Jam slam dunks and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, who's doing that in real life? You know what I'm saying? So like, you just gotta kind of know that life is so much more than just a tweet. You know what I mean? So I'll leave it at that. I think I can be overly expressive at times, but that's not a bad thing. There's so many people who struggle with communication nowadays. I even struggle still sometimes, you know what I'm saying, in different areas. But I just think that a lot of people should just try writing things down. I used to do that a lot when I was going through school. I got kicked out of 8 schools when I was growing up, so I was like, I had a lot of time to write. I was in ISS or I was at home, so I was like, you got to do something. All your homies is at school still, so you got to like figure out something to do in your spare time. So I just started like writing down, you know, just how I was feeling, or like just different things. Really, it didn't even have to be how I was feeling. It could be like words I was trying to make up or slang or whatever it was, and it just evolved into something that has been able to, you know, help me do a lot of different things in my life, from traveling across the United States to traveling overseas to working with people who I never thought I'd be able to work with. So I just encourage everybody, man, to just, you know, read and write. I think that everybody has their own perspective, and I respect everybody's opinion. I think that, you know, anybody who says something about another grown individual's opinion it's like really just a waste of time. But for me, man, I enjoy connecting with conscious people. I enjoy connecting with people who think outside of the box and just see the bigger picture of things as a whole. We live in a manipulated day and age, man. Like everything is prepped for us to feel and act and react a certain type of way. So I don't know, man. It's funny because when I was going through school, man, I never liked reading or like none of that. Like I would never do homework, but I would always get good grades. But I just never did it. And then like once I grew up and I like got to a stage where I felt like I didn't have a stage in my life, I just started reading. And you'd be surprised at what you'll find in those books, man. You'd be surprised at what people will write down but they won't say. So I just, you know, I encourage people to read, man. I encourage people to think outside of the box and not watch TV.